feeling cowardly, or vice versa, But you're asking another question, and I'm trying to avoid answering it. Yeah, I did. Yeah, I did. I found that it was a great way of expressing not just anger, but frustration. I was very frustrated by an apparent... I'm very frustrated when I see people show a certainty about something that the evidence cannot allow. I am dogmatism of various kinds. I don't mean religious dogmatism. I mean even a politician on the TV, or even, I don't know, a friend at coffee. Sometimes we have beliefs, not sometimes, all the time we express deep conviction in beliefs that are unwarranted. I'm not saying that they're untrue. I'm saying that conviction is not warranted. That sense of certainty. And moreover, we don't need to have the certainty, and yet we vest these beliefs with certainty. There's a line in the novel that, something like, I used to think that reason was the midwife of certainty, but now I know that it's the wish that fathers the thought. There's a stock phrases, all of them, but it's nice to put them together and make something new. That's what certainty really is. It's an expression of a wish that something be certain. Once that wish that it be certain is expressed, we feel certain, in my view. And there's a lot of, this is an area that psychologists are now looking at as well. So that was something that got me frustrated. And you can see that politically, weapons of mass destruction. But also, just this constant, once you become attuned to it, it just crushes you. It's sort of attuned that this is what's happening all the time. That we're exchanging not ideas, but our certainties.
If your ideas are so complicated, or these feelings that you have for this here, how do you express it that your audience can understand?
Well, novels.
Do you think you were successful
with this novel? Well, you're asking you've done an interesting thing. You asked, and it's not a mistake, it's not a mistake. I'm not saying you made a mistake. You said, you talked about the audience, and then you said, do you think you were successful? But you also talked about expressing your anger. Now, it's quite possible that those three are not coincidental, that you can get a positive result on two of them and a negative on the other. They're not the same things. But let's stay with the explaining to an audience point, right? Will an audience get it? You have to think about that a little bit. What you have to think about is this: not all literature works for everyone, and there are extraordinary novels out there that do not work for everyone. I'm sure my publicist would not approve of me saying this. But I like Thomas Mann. Have you read Dr. Faustus? Have you read Hermann Hesse? Have you read? There are A Man Without Qualities by Robert Musil. Have you read Moby Dick? Have you read James Joyce? Lots of people have read James Joyce and hate him. So whether I was successful, let me say let's backtrack, okay, and let's just push one thing out of the way. This is a fascinating topic, by the way. This is really an important topic, and this is where a lot of literature, a lot of our cultural life. I can't believe I'm talking about this. Oh my goodness! I'm feeling I'm getting stuff off my chest. We shouldn't. Art has to be more than simply pandering to people's base instincts. Yeah, it has to be much more. And modern literature has thrown away the thing that it does much better than every other art form, and that is interiority. Let me go back. That is interiority, that's consciousness, right? Modern literature has just thrown it away for nothing. And it's done that because it's decided to compete with film. It's decided to compete with television. Television and film can't do interiority, right? And by interiority, I mean the first-person perspective, or the third-person limited perspective. That kind of staying close with the life of the mind of a character. Why am I talking about this? I'm talking about it because my novel has had the most incredible reviews, right? 40 reviews at least, and counting. James Wood, 4,000-word review, a dazzling debut, New Yorker, a brilliant novel. I'm going to say I rattled it off because we can just knock off one point. It goes on, Joyce Carol Oates, a unique work of fiction, remarkable, a powerful debut, Wall Street Journal India. This is the greatest novel by a writer of South Asian origin ever. And it goes on and on and on, right? The reviews just go on and on and on. So it's fine. Critically, yes, it is a success. Commercially, actually for a literary novel, it is. My hardback is in reprint and has been in reprint since August. It was published in May in the UK, published in April in the US. So that's just the hardback. The paperback has been brought forward to January publication date. It was supposed to be in April. Why? Because Waterstones, the leading bookseller in the UK, wants to make it their January book club, book of the month. So they said, we will need you to publish the paperback sooner, and we will need you to publish, print so many thousand more copies. So it's, I mean, I say commercial successes, and we're not talking about, you know that literary fiction is read by very, very few people. The numbers are horrifying. Philip Roth recently, a couple of years ago, said that he thought the novel was dying, and he's right. From a numbers perspective, it looks like the novel is dying. The literary novel. You know what I mean by literary novel, right? I mean, it's really a category, it's a non-category, it's a residuary category. Once you take out 50 Shades of Grey, J.K. Rowling, and Dan Brown, you've probably got rid of most of the nonsense that's... Sorry, I shouldn't say things like that. We should just think something. Yeah, I can't remember what we're saying. What I'm saying is this. Even asking the question whether I've been able to convey my ideas to an audience. See, I think even that question is, problematic.
Do you think you've been successful?
Yeah, I've been very successful.
No.
Yeah, it's been very successful because I get a lot out of it, and I think it is a beautiful work of art. And art matters. But a couple of days ago, somebody asked me, this is a question that pops up in so many instances. Whenever you hear the claim, a lot of people make it, well, do South Asian writers? I'm not a South Asian writer. Look, listen, I'm not. I don't have, it's not, my tradition is that European tradition. Centrally, it's not even a British tradition. When they ask whether the South Asian writers are writing to a Western audience, as Rushdie did, I called it, what they're asking is, are you changing the way you're writing so that it can be understood by this kind of reader? But it's really a narrow case of a very much broader question, and that is, who is the reader? That's a question that's there all the time, right? And a couple of days ago, I said, in the context of, not an interview, it was a question from the audience. This question popped up, in relation to some question from the audience, and I said, a writer should ask that question, and then should ignore it. Ignore what? It. The answer, no. The question, because I don't think you will ever adequately answer the question, but you will discover in the course of trying to answer it that the question is a mad question. that it's a mad question, that it will drive you mad, that it's full of madness, that it's, it's a dark place. Who is the reader? Write, just write. Be honest. I don't understand when writers say tell the truth. I've never understood that. Presuming you know the truth, you're going to be the arbiter of truth. What we should aspire to is just be honest. Root out our dishonesties. That we can do, right? Whether or not we're writing the truth, we don't know. And why is this relevant? Don't worry about it. Just be honest. And I know, therefore, at the end of the week, that I've been successful at it. Once you take that perspective, you can decide if you're successful on the day you finish it. Well before it goes out of publication.
You had a question?
I had a rebuttal for him.
You have a rebuttal?
Yeah.
Oh,
As a symbolic consumer, I like things which are related to my ideas. When I referred back to our interior, I actually meant a couple of the jewelry they had. One specifically had this one love jewelry which has all the religious symbols on it. I believe in ecology too. And when I'm thinking of buying it, or when I look at it, I see that I have this relation with it, and I can actually express my idea in one way by wearing it. It's just not to show someone what I have. It's to have something I believe in. At the same time, when I have, when anyone has a distinguished sense of style, a distinguished sense of living, he or she actually represented by, you can just look at someone and see that what he or she sometimes believes in and what kind of lifestyle they have. And not being symbolistic is a luxury.
Yeah.
Because when we look at someone, the first thing we will do, the shoes and the clothes, where they're from and what they're wearing, what kind of taste they have. And when they're living here, when we look at someone and say that actually, whether for girls, I will say that whether she's from a traditional family or she has a restrictive life or what she's trying to pull off. Is she believing what she's wearing, or is she just putting on a show for somebody else to believe in what she's trying to do? So for me, my philosophy is what I like. You can just look at me and see that this is what I all about.
I tell you, you might well be right. But what I do see is that the risk of overdoing this is much greater than the risk of in our society, the risk of overdoing, the risk of placing too much weight on materialism seems to be much greater risk in this society than the risk of placing too little weight on materialism. That's the point.
Aksa?
I just want to answer you. It was the same way like Edward Bernays used these ideas of expression through materialism, so that he could expand his market for dressing and everything. So it's again the same thing.
Zara?
Actually, I just want to summarize something for myself. So from what you said about consumption and your ambition of not being hungry again.
Oh yes, mine.
So I got 3 points. I mean, from consumption and your ambition of not being hungry again, and also from do not be distracted by material. I want to make sure that are you saying that maximizing the minimum brief is safe because it is about
Yeah, no, I'm just saying that my character trait was such that I just didn't want to be hungry, and that the character trait might be put there by my circumstances. The only pedagogic point I'm making is don't be seduced by materialism, and keep a lookout. Don't play these incredible games with our own minds. We justify things. It's a great line in the movie. I forget what it is. It's Jeff Goldblum who says rationalization is more Have you ever gone a week without a rationalization? We're rationalizing our actions and choices all the time. I need this, and tell the story. So I don't know. All I'm saying is that we're prone to it. That's what we're hardwired for. That's the evolutionary impulse, is to acquire stuff. And it was necessary at a certain point. It's not necessarily more. Hoarding is not necessary.
I have a question. Okay, go.
Okay. So we've discussed the fact that you had the opportunity to attend some of the best universities in the world. I was just wondering, what do you think these experiences have actually been inadequate? In what ways have they been inadequate for preparing you for life?
That's a good question. I'm not sure. I'm not sure all of these things are supposed to prepare you for life. I mean, an economics degree is probably a really bad thing. If you're going into it, I'm going to do an economics degree in order to prepare me for life. I think it's asking too much of an economics degree or a law degree. I'm going to take a law degree in order to. I mean, life has lots of things. It has children and divorces and parents dying and sickness and the car not starting at 5 o'clock in the morning when you have to get to the airport or something. So those things, how you deal with those things, so it's inadequate in that way. Yeah. To never
Any
talk.
essential skills that you feel that
Yeah.
they didn't really prepare you for?
Well, I never learned to type in any of those degrees. I actually did that myself. You're not going to. University won't give you all the skills. It just won't. There's no silver bullet. Life will be mistakes. It will be one mistake after another, and the ones who have a good time. I'm not talking about successful, but the ones who have a rewarding time are the ones who are not afraid to make a mistake. Yeah.
Last question, Sharon.
I'm wondering what you think of people's reactions to your book. Do you feel that, are people...
By the way, the book's not really about consumerism. I don't know. I mean, I think it's because of, sorry. Yeah.
Orange therapy.
Yeah.
Are people getting what you had hoped them to get out of the book? Are people understanding what you hoped they would understand from the book?
Well, I've talked about this. People ask me, was there a message in the novel? And I'm very wary of authors, not writing messages, but talking about messages. I think once the book's out there, it's the property of the reader. And the book has to be capacious enough to allow the reader to bring in their own furniture. That's the only way they can own it. So, I certainly don't like the idea of, sending a message out. There is an underlying theme, an epistemological inquiry. How can we rely on what we think we know? How can we, what is it that we can trust as evidence? But those are questions rather than points. And there are lots of challenges to various ways, lots of challenges to unmerited articles of faith. So I have people, the response has been, I had a professor of philosophy writing to me the other day saying he had never seen a fictional work which was about epistemology, but in a narrative form, which actually managed to work as a narrative form. And it's causing people to think, and that, I know that. I know that because I get messages all the time. I get messages from all kinds of people. I got a message from a woman who's very sick in the Pacific Northwest, and she went into hospital and she needed a book, and she found it consoling because she said it's very honest. I get a message from James Gleick, the popular science writer. I got a message from Mark Haddon, the author of Curious Incident of the Dog in the Night Time. lots of authors have written to me, and because it provokes. It's supposed to make you uncomfortable. Because I believe that's when literature is best able to give you an opportunity to see something in a different way. Not to agree with it, but just to see something familiar in a different way. Otherwise, we're just trapped in habits of thought. So yeah, the messages I'm very wary. It is one wonderful thing is that now that it's been so heavily reviewed, pretty much everybody has got all the sorts of things that I thought it was capable of yielding, but loads more. And it's great when an author discovers, oh yeah, there's all that sort of stuff as well. It's a fantastic, feeling. So yeah, sorry.
Great.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. Thank you all so much for coming. The Ifat and Zia will be here for exactly 5 minutes. So if you have any pressing questions, hopefully they'll be willing to answer those. So thank you again for coming.